Hey Dazzlers, welcome back. Today we are making Rice Krispie treats, chocolate covered Rice Krispie treats that are homemade. Emphasis on homemade. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, we have 3 cups of Rice Krispies, a half bag of marshmallows, half stick of butter, and a splash of vanilla. Will be adding all into a medium saucepan. You want to mix that on a medium heat and just stir it down so that it melts. It will take a little while. You don't want to burn the marshmallows because they will burn if you have it on too high. So you want to melt that down, just slowly melt it, and it will take about 3 to 4 minutes to melt down. You just stir it until it's completely melted. Then you have some ooey gooey goodness to add on top of your Rice Krispies. Okay, so now that that's completely melted, pour that over your 3 cups of Rice Krispies, and you're just going to get as much out of that pan as possible. You see how sticky that is? You want that sticky. You want that moisture. You want all of that. I promise you, you do. You don't want those crunchy store-bought Rice Krispies that are harder to bite through with the chocolate. I'm telling you, your customers are going to love no, not store-bought. Your customers are going to love this homemade versus store-bought. I'm telling you, I promise you. Now mix that all in together. Get all that ooey gooey goodness into those Rice Krispies. Stir that all up. I'm telling you, all of that is necessary. See that the stringiness, you want all that. You don't want them to be dry. You want them to be nice and wet. I promise you. Now we have our chocolate melted, and we're going to use a silicone brush to brush in the chocolate so it's not too thick. The whole point of making these Rice Krispies this way is because, number one, I love the clean look of using the mold, and number two, with making your homemade versus buying the store-bought, you use less chocolate. And so by using the silicone brush, you brush in just enough chocolate to cover the mold and cover those areas, so your customers aren't going to be biting into a whole ton of chocolate when they bite into these delicious homemade Rice Krispie treats. So also, if I use red and black a lot, and if you're wondering how we got this gorgeous red color, there is a video on that. There's a video on making red, whether you use Chef Masters or Color Mill. It's an actual versus video, so it will show you how we make red, this vibrant bright red that is so hard to achieve. Here I'm tapping out any extra bubbles that might be in there. Being very, very meticulous with putting this chocolate on. Now also we'll show you how we clean up any areas that become outside of the mold. I have a new favorite toy that I love to use. It's my absolute favorite thing at this time, so you'll see how we clean up these edges. Trust, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do so. I know I don't post as much as I should, but I'm working on that. I truly am. I want to get you guys as many videos on things that you might be interested in as possible. If you have anything that you want to see, go ahead and comment, and we can go ahead and work on getting that out to you. I promise I want to do as much for you on this channel as possible. Probably saw a little piece that wasn't completely covered, so I went ahead and made sure that each edge is covered. You don't want it to end up cracked. Even though we're doing a thin piece, we don't want it cracked. You can see the chocolate's already setting because it's kind of cool in my house at this time. So now I'm gonna go ahead and get to the black. Again, if you're wondering how we get this nice deep black, go ahead and I will drop the link in the description box below for the YouTube video on making the red and black chocolate using Color Milk and Chef Master. So whether you have one or the other, which there's other brands out there, but those are the two that I did. So whether you have Chef Master or Color Milk, it shows you how you can achieve those colors with that. Make sure to get those corners, which I will go over and make sure that I get when they're in view. So those little spots that you might see, they're going to all be taken care of, trust. So definitely working detailed on this. You can also pour in the chocolate. It's a little quicker, but you have to do like a dump method to get the chocolate out to not have as much. Again, I want to make sure that I don't have tons of chocolate in the Rice Krispie treats, because Rice Krispie treats are already sweet on their own, then plus the chocolate, then you have extra chocolate. It's just a lot. So I've had some customers that don't like it like that, so I actually really worked on trying to figure out the best way to get the aesthetic that I like, the mode, the nice square, not square, rectangle, but they do have square modes, the nice rectangle box out mode, but also give the customers exactly what they want. So that being as important as it is to me, I went ahead and tried to find the best way to do this. And you can also use basically any treats that you want to use, any type of cereal that you might want to do. I've done this with Fruity Pebbles, and then like the chocolate, the Fred Flintstone ones, I can't think of them, but you know what I'm talking about. Those chocolate ones, I've done those as well. So this gives you more leeway with whatever cereals you might want to do. You know, cereal bars, they sell cereal bars, and basically the same thing with Rice Krispie treats. You just add in your melted down marshmallows, butter, and vanilla, and you mix it in, and you have whatever cereal bar you want. So this is a great way to do exactly what you want, exactly how you want. So now that we're done with the black and making sure that those edges are done, I'm going to go back and do the red as well, making sure that I get those creases, because those corners can be weak sometimes. So you want to make sure whenever you're doing any molds, even when you're doing like breakables and things like that, that you do spend some time on those creases, making sure there's extra chocolate there, because they want to crack and we don't want that. We don't want to have to do extra treats and spend this time actually putting into this. And I'm being very, very detailed for this video. Usually I go a little quicker, but I wanted to make sure that I showed you exactly how to get into those crevices and things like that. Sometimes I do the pour method where I just pour a little bit in there and then I swish it around with the spoon or the spatula or the brush, whatever I'm using at the time. To be honest, like I go with the flow a lot of times with making my treats, so I use multiple utensils while making my treats. I do tend to stay with the spatula or silicone because doesn't hold heat, and it's just easier to maneuver with. So what I'm going to do now is you can either do a knife or just like one of the scrapers, but I'm going to take my neat little kitchen torch. I'm going to warm that up some so that I can clean up those edges, so when I demold it, there isn't a whole bunch of extra chocolate on the side. So when you heat it up, even though the knife will take it off by itself, when you heat it up, it just makes it so much smoother. And take that off, all those extra edges off, and just wiping it on my silicone mat. Get it out the way. Like I said, I'm severely in love with my new toy, the torch. Absolutely love it. You can use it for so many things, and you'll see later in the video what else I use it for. And clean up those edges, make them nice and pretty for you. Make them nice and pretty for you. Okay, so I'm gonna tell y'all, like, usually I'm speeding through my videos because I just want to get it to you. Now what I'm doing is I'm spraying my hands with some spray, like oil spray. It's the canola oil bottle. I thought I showed y'all in the video, but I did not. Sorry about that. But it's just like a, like the spray, the cooking spray. So with that, it helps to keep your hands from getting sticky. And right now I'm just forming it. Once you get used to forming it, you know how much to pinch off. I can't tell you approximately how much it is weight wise or anything like that. I literally just play around and mash it until it gets into a nice shape. And once you get it into the shape you need, you can put it right into the mold. If it's a little bigger, you can just take off and start over. Once you do one or two of them, I promise you, like, you'll have the feel for it. Just like doing cake pops or anything like that, you'll just naturally get the feel for it, and it will just come easily. You can add a little more or a little less. For me, I'd like to fill my stuff up. I believe in giving my customers what they pay for. They're paying for Rice Krispie treats, so you're going to get a Rice Krispie treat. You can take a little off so it's not as deep, so that when you shake your mold down, if the chocolate settles completely through. For me, I'm all about the front presentation. The back, I make it as neat as possible, but I want them to have the Rice Krispie treats. So I'm just pinching off, and the batch that I made will make up to about 9. I think it's like 9 to 12, depending on how much is in on each one. But the 3 cups makes about literally like 10 Rice Krispie treats. So I'm only doing 6, so I did have extras after I finished. But you see, I'm just mash that in. You do not, and I repeat, you do not want to press in too much into your mold. You will crack that chocolate before it's even before you even freeze it. And since because you are filling it from edge to edge, there won't be like chocolate that you can add in to help set that chocolate. So you want to get your form in good and just barely press, so that you are not, I repeat, that you are not pushing hard into the mold. And I'm going to go ahead and cover the top of those. My chocolate, I think it was starting to to set some in the jar, so it was a little lumpy. I saw that lump come off of it. I'm trying not to overfill so we don't have too much to clean up once we're done. I don't know if y'all saw at the beginning, but these are for Ladybug Miraculous treats. Ended up doing a whole set. It came out really cute, so that's what the red and black are for. And then I think my chocolate was a little set, so it's taking me a little longer to get it to where I want it to be. I want it to be as smooth as possible. You know, it's going to have some lumps because Rice Krispie treats are not smooth. They're not a smooth surface. It's one reason why I like the mold, because I like the smooth front of it rather than just the dipping. Because you definitely can dip Rice Krispie treats. You can even make your own and dip them. You can, just like we put them in the mold like this, you could do this without the chocolate and form your own Rice Krispie treats to be all the same perfect size without having to lay them out on a sheet and cut them with the cookie cutter. But you can definitely use the cookie cutter also. You can do so many things. I mean, the treat world is so amazing. Like, you can do so much within the treat world and clean up these edges. Since it's still wet, you can easily do it with a spatula, making sure that you don't have any crazy edges. Now, as you see, the red is already set, and we're going to go ahead and do the black. I heated up the black so that I wouldn't have that to deal with like I was having to deal with the red. So go ahead and pour over top. This is, of course, a whole lot quicker than doing what I was doing before, but like I said, the red was a little thicker and I just didn't heat it up. So, getting those little extras off again. So, because if not, you'll find yourself scraping along the edges or trying to cut it off or do whatever. After I finish doing this, I'm gonna set this in the freezer and let it set for about 5 to 10 minutes till the chocolate's completely solid. You want to make sure that chocolate is good and cold so that when you release it, it's not trying to stick to the mold because it's not done. You see how easily that releases? And I do have my sticks that I'll be adding in. See how nice they come out. Yay, 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 yay. That one did not. It had a little area that I'm gonna have to fix with a little extra chocolate, but that's fine. Stuff happens. I'm not perfect. So right now, I'm gonna start adding the sticks. For this one, I usually try to, that's my torch I'm showing you, but I usually add a little chocolate. I don't know why I was so excited, but add chocolate to the stick. I heated up the base and it goes in so smoothly. I had to heat up the chocolate again because it's tripping. I like to stick my so that the stick doesn't move. The stick, it won't move. The stick, it won't move. Yeah, so you don't need to get super close. As you see, the chocolate in the stick, it'll help it seal it into the mold. You also don't want to press too far down because the change in I don't know I can't think of the scientific term right now, but the change in space that from pressing in will expand the Rice Krispie treat, and it will crack. This one is having some issues. See? Told you I'm not perfect. Heat it up just a little more. And it still didn't want to go in. Yep, it didn't want to go in. So, needed a little more pressure. Put your thumb on the back of the straw, and it's supposed to help seal that, and for some reason it just wouldn't go, so I had to get another straw. And that one got a little bent, but thankfully with this set I was adding toppers anyway, so kind of covered up and make it work. You see, you don't want to be too close on it. It will heat it up really well without being too close. And again, put your thumb on the top. But again, I don't know why these wanted to act funny. Maybe I compacted my Rice Krispie treats a little too much. But they wanted to act funny, so there we have it. Generally, I want to speed through the bloopers, but I'm allowing y'all to see them today because, again, I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect. But this is how they turned out. I hope you enjoyed. This is how they turned out. Like, subscribe, and comment. See you next time. Keep dazzling.